Hey, it's Conrad, the mortgage guy, and we are live at myworldpod.com immediately following AEW All Out live from Toronto. We can't wait to hear from you. We want to know, what'd you like best about the show? Was there anything you didn't like about the show? What was your favorite match on the show and why? And what was the biggest surprise of the day? Jeff, we'll start with you. Surprises first. Was there anything that really surprised you in this pay-per-view?
Oh, man. So you're talking matches. What a show, man. Derek Zoo's already joined us. I'm looking forward to seeing the comments and questions in our chat, YouTube chat. Wow, Connie. What a freaking show. And it feels like we started a few hours ago, and we did. So surprises, obviously. Jack Perry back. I think Pac, if you're just talking about shocking surprises, nobody called that. I don't think really anybody called that. And he looked great, intense. It wasn't a surprise, but the Takeshita match to me, Conrad, I'm still kind of thinking about that one. That's a lot of times, in the following hour or two after a big show, you kind of go back and in my mind, anyway, I don't want to get too long right off the top, but man, what a show. Takeshita, he is obviously Okada. Those guys put on a show. The ladder match. Oh boy, it was good, man. What'd you think? What jumps off the page, just first blush?
Well, it was a big show. I mean, they pulled out all the stops for this. I'm like you. I was kind of surprised to see Jack Perry put back together with Kill Switch. I felt that was a fun little reunion. I think maybe the biggest surprise was the opening match, though. That was a while ago now. This was an AEW marathon show, but the idea that the story doesn't seem to be over. In fact, it seems to be beginning with FTR and Cope and Cage. That was sort of my takeaway. First of all, I was excited to see Beth Phoenix there, but most of all, hey, this isn't the blow off. This is the beginning, Jeff.
Yeah. And then, you know what? And I like that. At this day and age, every show is big. I mean, Full House in Toronto, All In, All Out, Revolution, Forbidden Door, setting records, so this day and age, it's like you're only as good as your last event. That is really, really tough. I mean, now we're, as the show was progressing, I was thinking through, all right, Wrestle Dream, where are they going here? We got a new champion. I think, look, so many things have happened. I'll have to process it. And when Silva kind of gets graphic up and we talk about different matches on that may be, and I reserve the right to jump around here, but Timeless Tony Storm is no longer our champion. That may be the single biggest surprise, coming out of it. I don't know, man. I think both of us this week, didn't we call Timeless retaining? I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We thought for sure Tony would retain. We thought if there was going to be a title switch, it would be in the Okada match. I think we both assumed Takeshita may win the title without actually ever pinning Okada. That was not the case. Okada wins clean in the middle, but he doesn't beat Takeshita. We are live, and we want to have your questions here. So if you have any questions for Double J, by all means, hit them. I want to mention that even though we're live on Jeff's Instagram right now, the only way we'll see your questions is if you're firing them off on YouTube. So head on over to our YouTube channel. Just type in My World on YouTube or Jeff Jarrett, or just make it easy on yourself and pull your browser open and type in myworldpod.com. Todd Satterfield says, hell of a show. This may have been my favorite AEW pay-per-view to date. Hey, I think it exceeded expectations, but I'd stop short of calling this the best AEW pay-per-view to date. I certainly enjoyed it, though. Derek Zoo says he thinks he agrees with you. Statlander winning the women's championship was the shocker of the night. Jeff, you mentioned wanting to break down some of the matches. The one that you circled first or highlighted first when we first jumped on was Okada, Takeshita, and the luchador whose name escapes me. What do you there you go, Dorada. Tell us about this one. Why did it stand out so much for you today, Jeff?
You know what? And I hate to say that I didn't have high expectations with those three talent. Dorada's freaking fantastic. But you can't say that there is a ton of story in it. I certainly wouldn't say this was, quote unquote, one of the main events. But as that match progressed, and you not only saw, I think, some very cool psychology, hard-hitting action, snug as hell in a lot of places. There's almost not a match that Takeshita's in that his athletic ability doesn't. And I'm not talking about a high-flying high spot or particular maneuver, but, that guy's 6'3", 6'4", and I'm not going to say he moves like a 5'4" guy. He is big and impressive, but his athletic ability. And then I just think the audience was dialed in. It kind of goes without saying. None of the three of them, English isn't their first language. I'll say that. So the quote unquote strong promos going into this match, I just thought it was very, very well done. You can absolutely say, if you sit back and kind of watch the entire event, they certainly would be in the running for nobody sandbags it on these shows, but man, best effort, best match, best chemistry. They're right up there in the running with it. But as we kind of go through the show, I may land on, by the time we get done with this My World Pod YouTube special, I may end up giving a vote. But right now, man, they're the leader in the clubhouse. I just thought it was very, very well done.
We want to hear from you. What was your favorite match on the show? If we cruise on over to cagematch.net, of course, we're just a few minutes after the show has ended, so much so that they haven't even given a match link yet for the main event. We'll start from the very beginning, though. It was a homecoming in Toronto for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. It took 18 minutes and 3 seconds, but they did get the dub over FTR. The big story, though, is Beth Phoenix getting involved and Adam Copeland being handcuffed, having to watch his own wife get the spike pile driver. Can't wait to see where this leads us. It's going to be fun, though. What'd you think of the match, Jeff?
I mean, and I always try to be careful because sometimes anything that can be taken out of context, but I want to make sure that I'm not just putting FTR in a certain bucket. They know how to be real antagonist in a very, very, I don't want to say old school because they blend it all in there. Stoke has been a huge welcome addition because I think it gives the team a different dynamic, a throwback, if you will. But I just like Dax and Cash's, you can call it, all these slang terms now that I always kind of cringe when I hear them. But anyway, heel, heat, antagonist, they get with it. And then as the match builds, as usual, it was fantastic. Toronto's two favorite sons and the dynamic between Jay and Adam is always there. But what a unique way. And we talked about this, about starting the show or closing the show. I think he thought they may close it. And I think I went with opening it. Boy, oh boy, what a marathon. I thought it was a good call how they started. And it was certainly hard to follow.
We want to know what you guys thought of the tag match. Will Rallis Sports says FTR is the best tag team in the world. In my opinion, they are great. Next up in match 2 on the pay-per-view portion of the event was the return of Eddie Kingston. He picked up a win over Big Bill. And I think everybody was unfortunately talking about the finish on this one more than anything else. I hate that for Eddie. I'm a huge Eddie Mark, self-admitted Eddie Mark. And I know that I've been looking forward to his return. And I don't know if that finish, I don't know him well enough to say, and I've never been a wrestler, but I think a lot of people would have probably wanted a do-over on that one. And I hope that's not what he's thinking about tonight, because fans were really excited to see him back tonight, Jeff.
Look, you can't bet 1,000. You just hit it. I don't want to harp on it either, because I think at the end of the day, when you look at Eddie's comeback, the people were, huge. They're with him big time. Goes without saying, I think everyone involved maybe wish an audible would have been called, but it's pro wrestling, and we will move on from it. But I'm glad to see Eddie back in the fold. What a hell of an injury, was it MCL or ACL? But
ACL, yeah.
ACL plus the broken leg, and he's back, and I thought he looked very, very good. So hats off, good effort. Big Bill. The New York boys tore after it, had the little run in, if you will, afterwards. So a little New York style. So we kind of see where that's going as well.
Pretty fired up about the next match. It was Tables and Tacks, Mark Briscoe and MJF. Before we talk about the match itself, I feel like we should mention what an incredible 24 hours MJF had. You know, he's in Arena Mexico last night or this morning at 1 in the morning. And then he's in the ring at 3 in the afternoon here in Toronto. I mean, that's pro wrestling right there, isn't it?
I love it. Youth, it's irreplaceable. But no, that is, you know, when you think back, I used to just cringe in a lot of ways. I'd hear those guys. Yeah, I used to work 4 TVs on a Saturday. I would do a 9 a.m. TV and a noon TV and a 5 or 6 p.m. TV. This is in the Tennessee territory, and a 10 p.m. TV, you know, and drive in between each one. So, man, country to country, and flew over his home country. Impressive in both performances. I saw highlights from last night. So, you know, at the end of the day, love him or hate him, he's divisive character in so many ways. But you got to tip the cat to MJF in his flat out effort over the last 24 hours. And, you know, Conrad, I think we were texting during this match about the unique charisma of our man Briscoe.
Yes.
He just, not a throwback. He may be one of the most unique baby faces in the business today in a real super flattering way, because you can't really bottle that charisma up, and you can't really put your finger on. Promos are good. You can't say they're great. His in ring, he's fantastic, but it's like he's just got the intangible. So a Briscoe with tax and a little hardcore in there, it's a winner, man. Congrats to both of those guys.
Really an impressive performance. I'm a huge self-admitted Mark Briscoe mark. I think he's one of the greatest wrestling characters going right now. And I think he's a great utility player, Jeff. If you want to put that guy in a scramble, in a ladder match, in a tag match, in a hardcore match, in a regular match, like, do you need him to be silly or serious and anywhere in between? Who gets it better than him?
Yeah. Back in the day, my dad would put Dutch Mantel in that, because Dutch could have a serious feud. He worked a little bit of a comedy angle, but then it got really hardcore blood and everything with Tojo Yamamoto. But Dutch could do it all. He could main event, he could open, he could be in a tag, a 6-man, heel or babyface. That's Mark.
Next up, we've got to talk about the demand match. This was a 6-man tag. It was kind of a return, if you will, for MVP. I was surprised MVP spent as much time in the ring as he did. I thought for sure he'd just make some brief appearances. I mean, he opened the thing and went quite a ways. Ultimately, he does take the pinfall. What'd you think about this 6-man, Jeff?
He put on his working boots, wouldn't you say, Connie?
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait next time I see him. I'm going to congratulate him. He put on his working boots. And, you know, and he kind of referenced a few things in there in promos and the build-up. You know, he's glad to be putting the boots on. Shelton and Bobby are, we'll call it the regular tag team. But I liked it. I thought the 6-man worked, and Ricochet's athletic ability, their chemistry. I think I mentioned it this past week on the pod when we were going over this. They got a unique trios thing going, and they're only going to get better.
What do you think about Ricochet's dive over the turnbuckle, over the ring post to the floor? Would that be in a lot of highlight? If he had done that in TNA, would that have been in almost every highlight package?
Yeah. I mean, and almost did it effortlessly.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, not to throw back to Takeshita, they do some things in there that you go, wow, did he really just do that? So the athleticism, I mean, man, top to bottom, the card was impressive on a lot of levels today.
We've already talked about Okada, Takeshita, and Dorada. An incredible match. It went 20 minutes and 55 seconds. At that point, it was the longest match on the show. The Christian Cage tag team match got 18 minutes. MJF got 19. And then this 3-way dance got 20. Oh, I accidentally skipped it. Jeff, Mercedes Moné, and Riho. Riho, of course, being the first AEW Women's World Champion. Now she's challenging Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. I saw someone online, I think it may have been Ibu. He said something along the lines of another impressive win for Mercedes, but I'm still waiting for a significant story for Mercedes and AEW. we've seen her win in a bunch of incredible matches. But I agree. I think I'm ready for the next story she can sink her teeth into. What do you think is next for Mercedes Moné, Jeff?
That's a good question. I think it's the I think I probably let me throw you this. Her collecting belts and her entrance, and I'm not going to say it is a B, or C story, but it is her story on collecting belts. And I think coming off the Tony Storm, the matchup, that was only, what do we've had? We've just had Forbidden Door in between there. And, I think I saw some early this morning online kind of about All Out's history. So I like Rio. I like the matchup. I thought it served its purpose. Yeah, we may be time for Mercedes, and who knows, that may start Wednesday going into, I'll call it there's, look, like Jack Perry returned, Pac returned, and we'll get to all this. Beth appeared. Just how deep the AEW talent pool is. Man, oh man, not everybody can have, and that's where I think sometimes you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Oh, this isn't the story, this isn't the story. Wait a minute. I really think on a 2-hour show, Wednesday and Saturday, there's only so much room to have stories. You do have to have just fresh matchup. So yes, I'm not disagreeing, but I think Mercedes coming off the Tony Storm, this wasn't a bad kind of a progression for her.
No, I mean, you want to talk about, first of all, we all agree that they were the two biggest women acts or female acts in the history of AEW, Mercedes and Tony. So you do need a good follow-up. We've seen that now Tony has lost her title to Chris Statlander, and that makes me wonder, are we headed for her challenging for the TBS title against Mercedes? That will be interesting to see where they go. What do you guys think is next for Mercedes? And Jeff, I can't wait to get your opinion about Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. You mentioned earlier one of the biggest surprises of the night was the return of Pac. Pac is back, and, well, he helped put Darby Allin in a body bag to help Moxley get the win. You want to talk about violence? We had it all in this one. What'd you think, Jeff?
Mox had a dominating run, and I think a lot of folks maybe had kind of I don't know. I don't say question, but maybe thought, all right, where does Mox, and the Death Riders go? But as they transition, and it's very apparent, I mean, my man Cody was downstairs getting ready for his homecoming. They're going to be heading out here soon. But, he was curious almost more than anything. Darby, the post-match stuff that came toward the end of the show. But the match itself, and I loved the Bryan Danielson kind of integration there. I thought that really, I thought it was a nice touch. I'll say that, because they set it up this past Wednesday. That's open-ended as well. But I thought that was a nice touch. But man, Darby, and me, you, and several others may look at him and go, how many of those bumps does he have in him? That toss from the top, from the inside the ring out to the coffin.
Brutal.
Dude, I'm not sure the body is made to do a lot of what we do, but it damn sure ain't made to do that. He'll feel that in the morning, no doubt.
And to be clear, you're not the old man yelling at clouds on this. You're just saying, hey, Jeff, do you want to take that move this coming Wednesday on TV? Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, but you know what? Just the intensity that both of those guys bring to the table, that's what I respect so damn much. There was look, everybody's got to put in a good effort, but you can just see, man, Darby, he just throws it into another gear, reckless abandon. That was well done. Super intense. Just the whole Death Rider, the whole gang part of it. Again, not to repeat myself, but I thought the Bryan Danielson touch was nice.
We totally agree. I also enjoyed the four-way match. We've touched on it earlier. You think it maybe was the biggest upset of the night. Chris Statlander sneaks a win and takes the title off of timeless Tony Storm. I gave a shout out right before this match started, Jeff, because I thought the pre-match video for this, the hype video that AEW put out for this, was just terrific. And I think the DraftKings ad they did with Tony Storm, another great piece of business. I know people always like to share their criticisms of AEW, but I think sometimes we don't share the positives. I think their production, man, when they do something right, they crush it, bud. Like they've done some really good stuff, I think.
Well, in that 4-way, did it feel, and look, Stat has been here, right, day one, at the very beginning.
Not quite, but a while, yeah.
Yeah, a while. But so, and all of those girls, Jamie, but the whole vibe, the 4-way for a title, it was a sleeper. We got a title change. But again, you just kind of go back to, and I know me and you've had offline conversations with like the AEW women's division, it's a hell of a lot deeper than I think people truly realize.
Agree.
Yeah. And so, sleeper match on the show, and we got us a title change.
Yes, we did. Let's keep it rolling. You want to talk about tables, ladders, and chairs? That's what it felt like in this 4-way ladder match. I know it was just a ladder match, but man, you talk about bodies flying all over the place. They had 24 minutes up to this point. That would be the longest match on the show.
They went
what story they told. Yeah.
Wow.
24 minutes in a ladder match next Saturday on Collision. Jeff, you in?
I'm in. Sign me up. As long as the Bucks are in. Those guys, as long as they're in there. But no, man, Matthew and Nick, what is it? Matthew and Nicholas, but no, Matt and Nick.
How impressive is Nick Jackson? I'm more impressed with him the more I watch of him. Obviously, I'm a big Matt fan too, but every now and again, something will just sneak up, and I'm like, damn, Nick Jackson is otherworldly sometimes.
And look, obviously they get tag team of the year and multiple times and all kinds of praise and all this. But to me, I look at it, we all look at it through the lens of kind of our life experiences. I think, I shouldn't say underrated, but maybe I'll say that tonight. Their ability to make other guys not look good, but great. And in the manner of, they are really good heels. They're really good bad guys. I mean, just because they keep it flowing and keep guys going and then get their shit in. But they just, the chemistry of the 8 of these guys, but when you really drill it down, Jet Speed's great and super athletic, and Rodito, really, really good. But man, the Bucks were freaking great. But Conrad, like high spot after high spot, and we'll call it that. I can't believe that went 24. I would not have felt, because it was a hell of a match, but that 24 minutes blew by to me then.
And think about that at this point in the show. I mean, we're not trying to be negative, but that was the 13th match that had been presented. So if you started watching the pre-show where you were just watching packages and stuff, you sat through 12 other matches. I'm not saying that to be ugly. I'm just saying you do worry about audience fatigue late in the show.
Oh, gosh.
So some people wonder, hey, did they not put this match on early because it's impossible to follow? Well, perhaps. But at the same time, you want something that people are like, oh, my God, I can't believe what I've just seen, to help bring them back up and get them hyped, not only for that match, but for the main event. Right, Jeff?
Yeah. And, the Toronto crowd, and I saw all kinds of stuff of praising the Toronto crowd. And look, I love my Canadian wrestling fans, not mine, but the Canadian wrestling fan. They've been that way for years and years and years. Oh, I remember a few shows in the Sky Dome fondly. Toronto shows out, going back to the late 80s. What was it? Orndorff Hogan had a monster show up there. But I just think the AEW premium live event or the pay-per-view or the big money shows, man, they just deliver match after match after match after match. And you think, at Forbidden Door, I can remember I had a buddy from Switzerland that flew over, and we had some business meetings, but he stayed and watched the show, and I was doing different things and 0 hour and all that, but he was kind of glued to the show. And he's just like, right when I think the match ends, and that's going to be the best match of the night. He said, out comes the next one. And he said, I get engaged, but he said, the people there live, he said, they were up on their feet for 4 hours straight. And I'm like, that's an AEW fan. It's impressive.
It was impressive. An unbelievable performance, an incredible amount of dues paid in that match. I mean, those guys are going to be feeling that for quite a while. But the main event was something else, the longest match of the show. And this was a jam-packed show. Match number 14, Hangman Adam Page pulls out all the stops, including a top rope, or maybe it was a middle rope, Deadeye. And then, of course, he followed it up with his springboard lariat. Or buckshot lariat. It was an unbelievable performance by both guys. If there were any questions as to what their intentions are with Kyle Fletcher, those questions were answered. He's going to be positioned as a top guy. This was the type of match that helps make a guy like Kyle Fletcher, don't you think?
That's right. And if and there's been, maybe there hasn't, but I know there's chatter often, how young he is, but Kyle has been around a while.
Yes.
And if I sat down with a group of guys and I showed Kyle Fletcher this match or any others, he does a lot of the little things really, really good. He's young, and so we all make mistakes. And hell, going on 40 years, you always make mistakes. That goes with the territory. But Kyle does a lot of the little things to draw money, in my opinion, right. His mannerisms, his ring presence, from the time he comes through the curtain, you hear me preach on our weekly pods that, hey, man, when you come through the curtain to the time you go back through, you got to have kind of an awareness. Kyle does that. And look, going back to the Aussie, what was it? Aussie Open.
Yep.
Those guys, a hell of a tag team. So Kyle, this ain't his first rodeo, but he's still super young. Look, 26, how young is that? It's young, but man, he's really, really good. And as you know, Hanger's one of my personal favorites. Conrad, you step into the ring and you are, 5 hours into the show?
Yeah. More than that. They were
5 hours
into the pay-per-view. Yeah. Yeah. They were almost 7 hours.
Okay. Hangman being champion and him walking into the ring at that time and knowing he's got to deliver, boys, that's mega pressure. It's a Saturday. It's maybe the biggest Saturday in professional wrestling in quite some time for all kinds of reasons. I'll say that, it's no hidden secret that the start time of this show changed. And so does that mix up plans or whatever it may be? Just there was a ton of pressure on Hangman, and he did what he always does. In my opinion, he over-delivered. He is an ass-kicking, good for the industry, good for the business, good for AEW, and he's continuing to build his rep and his legacy. Really one main event at a time.
We want to hear from you. Let us know what your favorite matches of the night were and what angles you hope follow up what happened tonight. What stories are you looking forward to? What are you most dialed in and excited about AEW right now? Drop us a comment below and we'll get to this topic again on our podcast. Join us and be a part of our live studio audience by subscribing to adfreeshows.com or enjoy our conversation anywhere you enjoy podcasts this coming Tuesday. That's this Tuesday and every Tuesday. Be sure to check us out at myworldpod.com or anywhere you enjoy pods. But right now, Jeff, Tony Khan is sitting down at the media scrum.
Tony's going to take it away. Should we pitch to him, Connie? No,
Let's do it. Go ahead.
I'll let you close the show. Thanks, Connie.
Thanks, everybody. Be sure to check out the media scrum and don't forget My World this coming Tuesday right here at myworldpod.com.
Peace.